What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Oh my god, what a film. What a fucking film. This film is incredible. A masterpiece, I dare say that. So y'all already know my verdict is, but I think y'all already knew it from, the trailer reactions and everything, man. My god, was this movie amazing, man. There's so much to talk about. Obviously, we're going to have a massive spoilers discussion, so, it's probably the spoiler-free because probably ain't going to be that long, man, but, yeah. But I will say this one thing, first and foremost. Y'all know that when, probably around the time this movie was announced, back when it was a two-parter, they announced that the Sentai Spider-Man, Minister of Evil, Emissary from Hell, whatever the fuck, the Sentai Spider-Man, was going to be in this movie. He is nowhere to be seen. Unless he is deep in the background, or I blinked and missed it, he ain't in this movie. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure when he was announced, because I'm pretty sure he was like one of the first Spider people that were announced for this movie, when the movie was announced, and this was back when it was a two-parter, maybe when they decided to like move away from that, even though this movie still feels like it's part one of a two-parter, man, because it does have a cliffhanger ending, and oh my god, that ending is insane. Which we'll talk about that when we get the spoiler discussion. Maybe they decide, we're going to push him back, we'll leave him for Beyond the Spider-Verse. Could be the case, because I don't know why else he was this movie when y'all literally confirmed him, at the start of this movie getting announced. So, don't know what that was about. There's still a lot of great cameos in this movie, and one thing I will answer this because he was on the poster, so this is a bit of a minor spoiler, possibly if you weren't really paying attention to the posters of the movie, so if you want to know nothing, just skip ahead a little bit, but y'all know that Josh Keaton's in the movie. We saw confirmed, and one of the posters, Spectacular Spider-Man is in the movie. Do we actually hear Josh Keaton speak? Yes! That's all I'm gonna say until we get to the end until we get to spoilers, but yes, Josh Keaton's in the movie, and oh my god, it's so nice to finally hear him after so long as Spidey Man. Last time we heard him was in Edge of Time back in 2011, so it's been a minute, man, but yeah, incredible. It was so nice to finally hear him. Anyway, let us jump right in. So the movie is directed by Joaquin Dos Santos, Ken Powers, and Justin K. Thompson, and stars Haley Steinfeld, Shamik, if I'm pronouncing his name right, Moore, Daniel Kaluuya, Oscar Isaac, Jack Johnson, and many more. And the plot of Across the Spider-Verse is after reuniting with Gwen Stacy's Brooklyn full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is catapulted across the multiverse when he encounters a team of Spider people charged with protecting its very existence. Now, we gotta talk about the cast. The cast overall is fantastic. Shamik, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing his name right. Probably not. Shamik, if I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, apologies. He's amazing as Miles once again, man. I probably would say he's probably the definitive voice of Miles, man. If you ask me, man, he's amazing. Now, interesting thing about this, and I think we might talk more about this more in the spoiler discussion, but given, recently there was an announcement that Sony is developing a Miles Morales live-action movie. I am curious about something, but we'll talk about that later. There's something I want to talk about there, but but he's great. Haley Steinfeld is amazing as Gwen, as Spider-Gwen, man. I would dare say this is more like Spider-Gwen's movie than anything else, man, because Spider-Gwen gets a lot of screen time movie. I feel she gets a bulk of the development and just and she's almost like the heart of the movie, I would say. Her and Miles' relationship and all that, man. So yeah, I really liked her as well. Oscar Isaac as Miguel O'Hara, man. Oh my god, he's fucking perfect, man. He is amazing as Miguel, man. He's just amazing, all right, man. I loved Oscar Isaac, man. Daniel Kaluuya was great as well, man. Honestly, I gotta give him props because when I heard he was Spider-Punk, I was like, okay, cool, he's Spider-Punk, awesome. Then when I actually hear him in the movie, I'm like, he sounds nothing like Daniel Kaluuya. Honestly, if you did not tell me he was voiced by Daniel Kaluuya, I probably would never have guessed he was voiced by Daniel Kaluuya because he really changes his voice. He's almost completely unrecognizable in this movie. There were a couple times where I'm like, okay, there he is. I can kind of hear Daniel Kaluuya in there, but most of the time he sounded completely unrecognizable. So shout out to him, man. And the rest of the cast was fantastic as well. First thing I gotta talk about, I love the opening of the movie, the opening 30 minutes or so before we really get into the credits and everything, and we switch over to Miles, because we start the movie off with a big thing with Gwen, with Spider-Gwen here. Oh my god, it looks so good, man. The backgrounds and everything, man, look like they were straight up ripped off the covers of her original Spider-Gwen run back from 2014 Untitled Run story, because you guys remember how amazing the covers and the backgrounds look there with all like the brush strokes and everything, man. Oh my god, it looks absolutely incredible, man. It's insane. There are other scenes in there, well, especially with the backgrounds and everything, that just looks so amazing. I feel like that No Lie, the animators were probably inspired by, I'm slipping on the artist's name, but he worked with Bendis on his Daredevil run. I'll probably have his name up here for you guys to so you guys can see it. But his art style kind of looked like they were taking inspiration from his art style with some of the backgrounds and some of the shots movie during the Gwen Stacy Spider-Gwen opening, man. Just the animation there just looks so good, man. Like, can we get a Spider-Gwen movie, like, please, or TV series, man? I need to see more of this universe, man, with this look and stuff, because it looks like it was ripped right off the pages of her original run, at least the covers, because I don't know if the book actually looked like that, but I know the covers have that same sort of style. I mean, it looked amazing there, man. But yeah, shout out to all the animators that worked on the Spider-Gwen section, man. That looked fucking amazing, man. The art animation just in general just looks insane, man. The animation is incredible. The overall the cinematography looks amazing, man. The directing, everything on this movie is on point, man. They use it's so well shot, man. The animation looks so good. It's incredible, man. It is just incredible. There's no other ways I can say that, man, other than that. It just looks incredible, and there's so many amazing shots. I love the way it uses colors. I already mentioned how they did the whole thing with Spider-Gwen, but there are other times it just looked amazing as well, man, with colors and everything else, man. This movie just looks incredible. Any way you slice it, it just looks so good. I already mentioned Miguel O'Hara. I thought he was great as a villain. I thought he was just great in the movie. But I also got to talk about the Spot real quick. Now, this was confirmed earlier on in the movie as well, which we actually did see this time, that the Spot was going to be the main villain of this movie, and definitely as well for Beyond the Spider-Verse, and that he was going to be switching up his appearance and everything as the movie progresses on, which does happen. And I gotta say, major props to this team at Sony that somehow took this D-list villain, the Spot, and actually made him quite menacing and just menacing. I'm sort of on the other words. He was a great villain, man. Like, he obviously starts off as like the comedic villain of the week at the start when he's facing off against Miles at the ATM and everything. But as we progress the movie onward, and his appearance does start to subtly change, man, he becomes quite evil. You're like, oh, okay, you legit, bro. You are legit. The Spot ain't a joke. You are legit, my brother. Cool. But yeah, I love the Spot, man, and I'm so excited to see what they're going to plan to do with him further on in Beyond the Spider-Verse when that comes out next year. Because the way how this movie ends with the Spot and everything, man, oh, I'm excited, man. I am excited. So yeah, he was great. Peter B. Parker, when he makes appearances, he's not in the movie that much. He's kind of low-key a glorified cameo. He doesn't really show up till like the end of the movie. Once we do finally get to see like the secret Spider Society of Spider People thing, that's when we kind of get to see him, man. And when we do, man, he's awesome. Of course, we know Mayday is in there. You know, I love how literally everything other medium besides the comics, they actually let Peter and MJ be happy together. Let him grow up, have kids. You know, I know Mayday got her fans, and I know a lot of people were hyped up when they announced Mayday was going to be in the movie and everything, man. And I'm just like, why can't we get this in the comics, man? Like, just at least them, MJ and Peter being happy, man. Like, because if y'all been watching my comic reactions for Taz, like, y'all know it's been rough out here, man. It's been rough on these streets, man. Like, it's just, I don't know what to say, man. It's just been rough, man. This run has just been destroying me from issue to issue, man. Like, I'm just suffering at this point, man. And I'm just like, why can't we have this in the comics? Why is it only in, like, the movies and the games and everything else where we actually get to see Peter actually be written right and he's, you know, happy with MJ and everything, man? But regardless, he's an awesome, and Mayday was great, man. I love his interactions with Mayday. We'll get more into that in the spoiler discussion, man, but yeah, he was amazing. Love that. Of course, the other Spider people we do see as well, they were great as well. We know about the Hindu Spider-Man, the Indian Spider-Man. I'm slipping on the dude's name. I forget what his name was. He was pretty cool as well. Love what they did with the art style of his universe, man. I thought it looked really cool as well. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I could talk about without getting into spoilers. Yeah, I think my only problem, other than besides, you know, it does have this cliffhanger ending to set up Beyond the Spider-Verse. This does feel like it's definitely part one of a two-part series, man. But, how this movie ends, man. Oh my god. Oh, it looks so good, man. Oh my god. We'll talk about this person, but there's also this other thing that I thought was kind of bizarre with Miles' character, but to be fair, it does kind of exist, or makes sense, given what happened in the first movie, where we find out that he actually kind of wants to get into science. And tries to be like this, tries to want to be a physicist, mostly just so he can, you know, travel through the multiverse, so he can be reunited with Spider-Gwen, of course, Peter B. Parker, Penny Parker, you know, the crew from the first movie. And At the same time, I'm like, okay, it kind of makes sense. He wants to go that route because he wants to get reunited as friends. But at the same time, this man has had like zero interest in science throughout the first movie at all. You know, I thought he was gonna be like an artist. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, was where he was gonna go. That seems like they were going in that direction for Spider-Verse in this movie, man. And from the first one, but yeah, I don't. It seems like they kind of shifted that, which I don't really kind of agree with, because you know this does kind of bring back to the whole thing of how people had issues with Miles when he was first getting introduced and where how similar he was to Peter and everything. But to be fair, it does kind of make sense given the context of the first movie, man. But I'm not really vibing that one, but who knows what will happen by the end of Beyond the Spider-Verse. We'll have to wait and see on that. But that thing I was a little iffy on as well. Also, one other thing I want to talk about real quick in spoilers-free free discussion is that there are reports out there in like test screenings that that Miles has like a My Hero Academia figure of Izuku that apparently was originally going to be Piccolo. Yeah, Izuku's not in the movie. I don't know if there was it was probably like a rights issue kind of thing. I don't know what happened, man. But in the X movie, trust me, I searched that man's bedroom every time we were in there. I'm looking around for this goddamn Izuku figure because, you know, because when I heard about this, I thought this is awesome. Horikoshi's probably, you know, over the moon about this because we know how much, because y'all know how much he loves Marvel. If you guys are fans of Hiroaka, and I'm like, where's the Izuku figure? Or Piccolo, for that matter. It looks like they just changed it to some random toy, which kind of sucks, you know? I was like, what happened to the My Hero Academia thing? But like I said, it was probably some rights issue thing or something. I don't know. But that would have been nice, man. We did actually get to see Izuku in there, man. Or maybe he was there and I just didn't see him. You know, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, that's like the last thing I want to talk about, the spoiler-free discussion. Now let's get on to spoilers discussion, man. So first let me give you guys my final verdict, which y'all probably already guessed. 10 out of 10. You know, this movie's a fucking masterpiece and everything, man. Y'all already know. But let's get into the spoilers discussion, man. So if you guys have not seen the movie yet and do not want to get spoiled, leave now. So first and foremost, one thing I want to talk about is that you guys know there was probably a lot of rumors going on, like, oh, are we going to see Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey in the movie? Well, yes, we do. But not the way y'all thought, because we actually see them actually just reuse the footage from TASM 1 and Spider-Man 1, and also Spider-Man 3 as well. You do get, there's this one shot where you did see Peter like ripping off the Venom symbiote when they were showing off the different Venoms, which was pretty cool to see. But yeah, we do have to see footage from TASM 1 when Uncle Ben died, as well as when Uncle Ben died in Spider-Man 1. You also get to see some footage of... Yeah, I'm forgetting there was anything else. Yeah, I think Captain Stacy as well. That was the one I was slipping on. Captain Stacy died in the first TASM movie as well, which is pretty cool to see Andrew Garfield there. I was like, hell yeah, Andrew's in the movie. So that was pretty cool to see them actually put in the live action Spider-Mans in there as well. Would have been nice if they had like full cameos or we got to see them animated in a fight or whatever, but it was cool that we did get to see them nonetheless, man. Now let's talk about Josh Keaton. First thing I love what they did is that they made it seem like there were I think there was like 2 different Spider-Man that Josh Keaton voices. And they made it seem, given how they were showing it off, made it seem that Josh was actually voicing the main 616 Peter. Because there's a shot when they were showing off the different Uncle Bens or I think it was actually, no, it was Captain Stacy. I know it's because we never saw this in Spectacular Spider-Man, but they showed it up in an art style very similar to John Romita Sr.'s art style, who I believe was the artist on TASM at the time. I don't know if Stan Lee was still writing the book at this time or not, but this is around when Captain Stacy died in the comics. It looked very similar to how it did in the original comics. And you actually get to hear Josh Keaton voices, which I'm pretty sure this never happened in Spectacular. I don't think Captain Stacy died in Spectacular Spider-Man. I could be wrong on that one, and that episode did get aired, but I'm not sure. I don't think he was. I think that might have been something we were planning to do maybe in season 3, but I don't know for certain if it didn't get canceled. So when I heard them, like, oh my god, it's Josh Keaton. He's playing 616 Spidey. That's fucking awesome. And then they actually put his scene in there right next to Tobey and Andrew, which I just think is the biggest thing that I thought was fucking awesome, man. The 3 goats all in one place, man. The definitive voice of Spidey, the definitive Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, of course, the OG Tobey Maguire, man. Tom Holland didn't make it. There was no footage of MCU of Tom Holland's part. They did obviously mention, which on the trailer, about the whole thing about Doctor Strange and Little Nerd from Earth 1999, but no actual footage from the MCU Spider movies. I don't know if that was maybe some licensing thing, maybe this goes against the agreement they had with Disney or something, but there was a reference to it, and I'm glad to see that at least this movie actually acknowledges that the MCU's universe is not 616 like in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse Man. That kind of bugged me. Y'all remember, if you guys saw my review for Multiverse Man, that actually did really bug me a bit, because I'm like, that's not the Earth. That's not MCU's Earth. The fuck are y'all talking about? That's a comics universe. Anyway, So that was cool. So all three Spider-Man did get some sort of reference or cameo in this movie in one shape or form. Another thing that was really fucking cool is also Insomniac Spider-Man was in the movie as well. Not the Spider-Man we actually saw in the trailers where we see him pointing. That I guess is a different Insomniac Spider-Man, but we do see the actual Insomniac Spider-Man when they showed off the different variants that that were placed in the wrong universes. We do see Insomniac there. I don't know if Yuri actually spoke at all. I couldn't quite hear it if Yuri actually spoke or not, but I think he might have. But probably the biggest shock we got during there, man, was actually we actually get to see Donald Glover actually as the Prowler, full out in a Prowler suit, which I was insane, bro. I looked at him like, oh my god, he's actually in the Prowler costume, because y'all know in the MCU he plays Aaron Davis, and they did throw in a mention of Miles in Homecoming. So the fact we actually got to see him in a Prowler suit was fucking awesome. He looked amazing too. It was also kind of funny to see him and Miles kind of look at each other, because you guys didn't know, Bendis was inspired by Donald Glover to create Miles. That kind of served as the inspiration before he went on to fully create Miles, because during the time that Tazin was first starting to begin development, there was a big push for Donald Glover to play him for some reason. I guess people could really like the community. I think we all can agree that Andrew Garfield was a far superior option, but whatever, man. He was a big inspiration for Bendis creating Miles Morales. So actually get to see them like look at each other, man, was pretty cool. And I was given that context, man. And just to see him in a Prowler suit, and it was so cool that actually we got to see like live action footage go into the anime verse. It was like Who Framed Roger Rabbit type thing, man. It looked fucking cool, man. It looked amazing. So it was pretty cool to see him in there as well. Speaking of Spider-Man PS4, if you were paying attention to Genk when he was playing on his PS5, you get to see Spider-Man 2 footage in there, and it's not the footage we saw for the PlayStation. No, it's completely new footage. We haven't seen. At first, I thought he was just playing like Spider-Man PS4 on his PS5 or the remastered one. But then I saw the Doc Ock tentacles that we saw coming out of him from the announcement trailer actually in the gameplay. So I'm like, oh shit, that's new gameplay. Holy shit, we're actually getting more gameplay. Oh my god, so I was freaking out about that too. And then of course, there's Josh Keaton as well, where I mentioned it looks like he's playing 616 Spider-Man because of Captain Stacy. But of course, he does appear as the Spectacular Spider-Man in the movie, which was interesting what they did with his art style, man, because I thought, because they didn't just take him from the animated, from how he looked like in the show, and just plopped him into the show with that same art style. They look like they reanimated him and went more into like a cel-shaded 3D kind of look they went with it instead. It looked pretty cool, man, I gotta say. But I thought it was pretty interesting that that's just how they went with for showing off Josh Keaton's Spectacular Spider-Man into the movement. But when we actually got to hear him speak again, man, I was like, yes, Josh Keaton, let's go! It was so nice to hear him again, man. Y'all know how much I love Josh Keaton. He's my favorite Spider-Man, man. And just finally get to hear him again after so long, man, was so nice, man. Josh Keaton even tweeted out earlier today that he plans on doing a stream tomorrow, and he's going to talk about his time with Spider-Verse, which I'm looking forward to hearing that and see what he has to say about that. That's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to that stream. So that was amazing, man. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Oh yeah, also Afro Molina makes a couple appearances as well, like his voice. I could hear his voice a couple times, which is pretty cool to see, man. Also, I forgot to mention the spoiler-free discussion, but the music in this movie is incredible, man. The music is so fucking good, man. Both the soundtrack as well as the actual score, both bangers, man. I was constantly, shazamming tracks, man. The soundtrack slaps, man. But I swear to God, man, that Miguel's theme is sampling the Spider-Man Unlimited theme. I don't know if it is or not, but it sounded like it was sampling the Spider-Man Unlimited theme in Miguel's theme, which was pretty cool, considering, Spider-Man Unlimited took place in the future, basically being Marvel's response to Batman Beyond and giving, Miguel 2099, the future and everything. I thought it was fixed. And we also know he's in the movie as well. He doesn't speak or anything, man, but you do see Spider-Man Unlimited Dub make a couple appearances in the background, which is pretty cool to see. Ben Reilly, of course, was in there as well. Love the art style they went with him with a super shell shade look. Looked amazing, man. I was kind of surprised they made him like the comic relief character, be like, oh, my well-defined muscles, and going like I was talking and going off about his memories, which is kind of funny given what's happened to him recently in the comics. He'd be like, give me back my memories, Peter, because of what happened with Beyond and everything. So that was pretty funny, man. He's played by Andy Samberg as well, which I guess should have told us that he was going to be more of a comic relief type character when he was about to be voicing him. But he was great, man. It was cool to see Ben Reilly as well. Now let's talk about Mayday. We gotta talk about Mayday. Oh my god, I fucking love Mayday, man. She's so fucking cute, man. And just Peter's interaction with her when he's like trying to let Miles touch her. He's like, hold Mayday, hold her. Like I saw a lot of people recently, a couple days ago, saying declaring that Peter is like a girl dad because of course Mayday and I believe Annie Parker was his other daughter from Renew Your Vows, I believe. correct me if I'm wrong in the comments in that one. And a lot of people are saying like, oh, Peter's a girl dad. He's a girl dad. Yeah, after watching this movie, I gotta agree, man. He's a girl dad, man. It was so funny to see him just trying to get Miles to hold Mayday. Be like, it will rejuvenate you, hold her. It was so funny, man. And then, of course, he tells Peter that he's the reason he even had her and everything because he considering what happened in the first movie and just like, oh, such a good moment. And of course, the little moment with MJ we do see in there was really nice to see the man. Like I said, I'm just glad to see MJ and Peter, you know, happy and together. Why can't we get this in the comics, Marvel? Why does editorial hate us so much? I don't know. But regardless of such, man, that was pretty cool as well. Trying to think if there's anything else with the Spot. Oh yeah, let's talk about the Spot. Let's talk about the Spot. So we find out that the Spot basically was created by Miles when the collider was used and it gave Miles his spider powers and everything. It did malfunction and cause the Spot to get his power. So he's like, "You created me. I am your nemesis," and everything. Man, and like obviously it comes up very much like a villain of the week joke villain at the start, but like once he starts to like get more powerful, use the collider and starts absorbing the colliders in different universes to become even more strong. Man, well, when we see him in like the end movie where he's like fully like where his colors like invert, where his body is black, and we see like white elements like around like a swirl around his face and everything, and he starts sounding super menaces, bro. I'm like, yo, that is badass. And then of course we have the ending of the movie where we find out that the spider that bit that bit Miles was not from his universe. It was from a separate universe, Earth 42, I believe it was. And then when he tries to get sent back home, he gets sent back to that universe, which we don't know is that universe because we thought it was the Ultimates universe, which is the universe I thought was going to be like this like cyberpunk anime type thing. I thought like, oh hey, this is the anime universe, the cyberpunk 90s universe. Oh, this is where we're going to finally see, you know, the Sentai Spider-Man. Still nowhere to be seen with him, man. But that universe as well looks fucking cool, man. The rain, the backdrop, man, very Blade Runner-esque, man. I mean, it wasn't really that cyberpunk-y, it looked very much, but it kind of had similar vibes to that, man. It looked amazing regardless, man. So when you had that, and of course it's revealed that it's not actually his universe when he tries to tell his mom that he is Spider-Man, she has no idea what he's talking about because there's no Spider-Man in that universe. I'm like, oh shit, this is the wrong universe. And then of course Aaron Davis shows in there. He comes up there, and we find out that Miles is actually the Prowler in this universe, man. And I just saw a tweet earlier today, right before I started recording, that showed off that shot from the first movie where Miles first got his powers, where the colors were originally purple and green. The Prowler's color before it went red and blue, insinuating that in his universe, the Ultimate universe, he would have also turned into the Prowler as well if the spider did not bit him. Which I thought was some really clever foreshadowing. I don't know if that was the plan from the start of it when they made Into the Spider-Verse, but I thought that was cool nonetheless, man. That was really hype. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh yeah, you also have Spider-Punk just being an instigator, constantly be like, fuck the system, and try to like help out Miles to defeat Miguel, man. Then he just like, I'm out, deuces. Yo, Spider-Punk, that man was just trying to create total anarchy, man. I already mentioned Mayday, man. We also saw some nice stuff with Miguel as well, where we find out that I believe he did that. They found out there was a universe where he was happy, where he died. This also goes on to whole like messing around with the futures and the timeline, the canon events. Otherwise, this web of the Spider-Verse is going to completely unravel and just everything's going to go to shit, and these universes are going to like self-destruct or whatever. Where we find out that he did it. That there was a universe where he was happy. He did have a daughter, and then when that universe's Miguel died, he goes to replace it, but that caused because he switched out and changed the canon of that universe basically implodes. His like daughter disappears as Arm-Man. Great scene, man. Miguel, and like I said, Oscar Isaac is just, he was amazing as Miguel, man. He was so good. Miguel looked amazing as well, man. I love his design of the movie, man. The claws and everything, just so badass, man. Miguel looked amazing, man. Just incredible, man. Just incredible in general. Oh, I almost forgot the actual like, ending and two other things. Now, this is I mentioned earlier on, but I wanted to mention here. As I mentioned before the start of the video, man, Sony recently announced there's going to be a live-action Miles Morales movie in development currently. Now, given the fact that we saw both Toby and Andrew make appearances through reused footage in this movie, man, what if if after the end of Beyond the Spider-Verse, either Miles moves, either that causes some massive catastrophic event, something where the universes get destroyed, him saving his dad, causes his universe maybe to get destroyed, and Miles, as well as his family, and probably also Gank as well, get moved universes just like they did in the comics, but this time he gets moved to maybe the MCU universe or the Venomverse, which did make a cameo appearance. We did see Mrs. Chen make an appearance in this movie, which is pretty cool. Which actually, they actually showed this off in like some international like trailers actually, which I did see these because MCU Direct posted these. So I was like, oh cool, Mrs. Chen's in the movie, cool. So yeah, she's in there as well. She makes a cameo as well. What if they move Miles into the Venomverse, put him in there so that universe finally has its own Venom, has its own Spider-Man, excuse me, and they bring in Shamik in there to play Miles as the live-action Spider-Man, moving from him as a voiceover Miles to the actual physical actor playing Miles in live action. Who knows? That could be a thing. I don't know for certain. But given, what's been going on with these two movies, and given Sony announced there's going to be a new Miles Morales live-action movie in development, there may be a possibility where we could see some crossover, and he becomes the Miles Morales he plays Miles Morales in live action, not just in the voiceover in these movies. Could be the case, might be something completely different. We won't know until Beyond comes out and we know for certain, but yeah, that has me interested, man. Also, another thing I want to talk about real quick before we end this video off is that you guys know that a lot of people were disappointed in the fact that Penny, Spider-Ham, and Spider-Man Noir didn't make any appearances in this movie. They weren't announced to make any returns or anything into this movie, man. Well, first off, Penny does actually make a cameo appearance in the movie, and she actually now does have her full-on Ava mech, which was nice to see, man. It was pretty cool to see that, man. So it was cool to see that she was movie. But in the movie ends off with Spider-Gwen bringing the entire band back together. She gets Peter B. Parker. She also gets Spider-Punk in there as well. But we also see Penny is in there with him, as well as Spider-Man Noir in the background. So you know what that means. Nick Cage is back for Beyond the Spider-Verse, and I couldn't be more happy. I assume Spider-Ham will be coming in there as well. I don't know if he was actually in the shot. I don't think I saw him, but I saw Spider-Man Noir. I saw Penny in her Ava mech, so I'm like, oh shit, the gang's coming back together, man. So that is hype as well. I was already hyped for Beyond before up that point, but once I saw Penny and I saw Spider-Man Noir, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be legendary. We got the whole crew coming back together to help out Miles in this new universe against his evil Prowler self, and against, of course, the Spot destroyed the Ultimate Universe and to kill Miles' dad. So yeah, I'm excited for that as well, man. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's everything I got for you guys. I don't know. I might end up remembering something as I'm recording, as I'm editing the video. Won't know, but pretty sure that's everything I want to say about Across Spider-Verse. As always, leave your thoughts below in the comments, guys. What you guys thought of the movie? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What are your theories for Beyond the Spider-Verse? Thoughts on the cameos? What were your favorite cameos? Leave it all down below, guys. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on my social if you feel like it. Links down in the below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.